John Charles Petersen came into the world in Cardiff, the son of a skilled massage therapist and a devoted mother. But his hands weren't made for massages. They were made for something much harder. As a teenager, young John fell in love with boxing. By 18, he was already a standout, crashing into the finals of the Welsh Amateur Boxing Association, not just in one weight class, but two. The very next year, he ruled them all. He became the Welsh champ in both light heavyweight and heavyweight divisions, and then topped it off with a British ABA light heavyweight crown. He wasn't just winning, he was dominating. In 1931, he dropped his birth name and stepped into the pro ranks as Jack Petersen. He was a sight to behold, 6 foot 1.5 inches of power and precision. In September of that same year, he made his debut in London at Holborn Stadium. His opponent, Bill Partridge, never saw it coming. Petersen knocked him out cold in the 4th round. And from there, Jack couldn't be stopped. He tore through his next 16 opponents like a storm. Among them was Dick Power, a proud Welsh warrior, who fell to Petersen's fists. And with that, Jack Petersen was crowned the Welsh heavyweight champion. A new force had arrived, and the boxing world would never be the same. Jack Petersen was on fire. 16 straight wins, and now came fight number 17, a big one. The British light heavyweight title was on the line. It was May 1932. Holborn Stadium was buzzing, and across the ring stood the seasoned Harry Crossley. 15 brutal rounds later, Petersen's hand was raised. He didn't just win. He took the crown on points, clean and clear. But Jack wasn't here to sit still. He gave up the light heavyweight title without defending it. Why? Because his eyes were already on something bigger. Just 2 months later, in July, he went after the British heavyweight title. His opponent was Reggie Mean, and the venue, Wimbledon Stadium, was packed. But it didn't take long. In just 2 rounds, Petersen sent Mean crashing to the canvas. Knockout. At just 21 years old, and less than 10 months into his career, Jack Petersen had done the unthinkable. He became the first Welshman ever to hold the British heavyweight title. He followed that up with another knockout win, then defended his crown in January 1933 at Olympia against Jack Pettifer. It took 12 rounds, but once again, Jack closed the show with a knockout. He was the king of British boxing, and he wasn't slowing down. 3 more victories followed, and then came a high-voltage showdown with the fiery Irishman, Jack Doyle. White City Stadium, July 1933. Over 30,000 fans packed in. But instead of a war, the fight ended fast, less than 2 rounds. Doyle was disqualified for low blows, and Petersen walked away still champion. But the biggest test yet was coming. November 1933, Royal Albert Hall. Petersen's 3rd title defense against the slick and dangerous Len Harvey. For 15 rounds, they traded leather in a chess match of fists. When the final bell rang, it was Harvey who edged it on points. Petersen's unbeaten streak was over. His first loss, in fight number 25. But champions don't quit. Jack bounced back like a storm, flattening his next 4 opponents, all knockouts. And these weren't nobodies. He dropped Reggie Mean again, crushed Harry Crossley, and beat the hard-hitting Ben Ford. The message was loud and clear. Jack Petersen was coming back for his crown. And he was coming fast. Jack Petersen wanted revenge. The man who gave him his first loss, Len Harvey, was waiting again. But this time, the stakes were doubled. The British and the British Empire heavyweight titles were both on the line. It was June 1934, back at White City Stadium. The crowd roared as Petersen stepped into the ring with fire in his eyes. 4 12 tough rounds. He hunted Harvey down, and when the 12th round came, Petersen unleashed a storm. Technical knockout. He had avenged his only defeat and now held not 1, but 2 belts. The British champion, the Empire's champion, all at once. But Jack wasn't done. Next came Larry Gaines, a tough Canadian with a hard punch and a strong chin. September 1934, White City Stadium again. For 13 rounds, they battled like bulls. Then, Petersen turned it on. Another technical knockout, another scalp, another defense. In December, he met George Cook, 15 rounds of boxing brilliance, and Petersen walked away with a clean points win. He had fought 32 times now. Only one man had ever beaten him, but that was about to change. Enter Walter Nussel, a young, Hungry German with a mean streak. Wembley Stadium, February 1935. Petersen fought bravely, but in the 11th round, Nuzzle swarmed him. TKO. The crowd was stunned. Petersen, who had looked unbeatable, had been stopped. And it happened again. 4 months later, a rematch. Same place. Same result. Another 11th round TKO loss to Nuzzle. 2 back-to-back defeats. The boxing world was shaken, and so was Jack. He had always been managed by his father, but after these losses, something broke between them. Petersen decided to go solo. No more father in his corner. But the fire wasn't out. In January 1936, he met Len Harvey for the 3rd time. This time, Petersen boxed smart. 15 rounds later, he reclaimed victory on points. He followed that with another title defense in April 1936 against Jock McAvoy, a dangerous man who held 2 titles of his own. But Petersen boxed like a surgeon and took the win on points. Then came Ben Ford, a tough South African whom Jack had once knocked out. But the rematch in August 1936 didn't go as planned. Just 3 rounds in, Ford dropped him. TKO. The titles were gone. Petersen had one last fight in him. A 3rd showdown with Walter Nuzzle, his old nemesis. February 1937 at Haringey Arena. But history repeated itself. 10th round. Technical knockout. Nuzzle had beaten him 3 times. At just 25, Jack Petersen hung up his gloves. In 5.5 years, he racked up 38 fights, 33 wins, 19 by knockout. Only 5 defeats, but 3 of them came at the hands of one man. A brilliant career, fast and furious, that left a lasting mark on British boxing. When war broke out, Jack Petersen didn't hesitate. Just months before World War II began, he had joined the Territorial Army, and by August 1939, he was already an honorary captain. Soon after, he stepped into the regular army, trading gloves for a uniform. He wasn't a man to sit still. He served with Western Command, worked with the Border Regiment, and was later stationed in Chester, where he took charge of troop development. In 1941, he was made staff officer for physical training, running a training school near Penarth on the South Wales coast. He asked, time and time again, to be sent abroad, but the answer was always no. His duty was to prepare others, to build their strength, discipline, and spirit. After the war, Jack found his way back to the sport he loved. He helped shape boxing in Wales, this time not from inside the ring, but from the boardroom. He rose through the ranks of the British Boxing Board of Control, and in 1986, he became its president. He also helped lead the Sports Council for Wales, serving as vice-chairman and pushing Welsh sport forward with quiet passion. Away from boxing, Jack found joy in family. In 1935, he married his sweetheart, Annie Elizabeth Betty Williams. Together, they raised sons who carried on the family's legacy: David, the sculptor; John, a decorated army officer and a marketing giant; and Michael. In 1957, the cameras came calling. Jack Petersen was honored on This Is Your Life, surprised by Eamon Andrews at the Memorial Hall in Barrie. It was a moment of recognition for a life lived with strength, courage, and impact. On November 22, 1990, Jack Petersen passed away at the Princess of Wales Hospital in Bridgend after a battle with lung cancer. He may have left the ring early, but Jack Petersen's legacy lasted far beyond the final bell. Jack Petersen wasn't just a champion in the ring. He was a warrior in life, from knocking out giants to shaping soldiers during the war, and later guiding the future of British boxing. His legacy lives far beyond the final bell. If stories like this move you, then stick around. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another powerful tale from boxing's golden past. There's so much more history waiting to be told, and it all starts right here.